Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. Now today, let's dive into an ironic piece of geopolitical drama. The Biden administration's latest move to lift the ban on supplying arms to the 12th Special Brigade, Azov, has been making waves. Yes, you heard right. According to the Washington Post, the State Department confirmed the decision, citing a thorough vetting process. Now, let's rewind a decade. The US slapped a ban on Azov because, based on news reports, a few of its founders were found to harbor, shall we say, less than inclusive views. But subsequent investigations conducted recently revealed that Azov has always been open to volunteers of various races and nationalities, proudly embracing a brotherly atmosphere. Sure, they use ancient Nordic symbols, but hey, who doesn't love a bit of Viking chic? Now, lifting this moratorium, however, is a game changer for Ukraine. Many argue that Azov could have defended Azovstal far more effectively in 2022 if they had access to American military gear. Plus, they miss out on US military training sessions due to the battalion's controversial past. Let's remember Mariupol, 86 days of defense, 2 years of captivity for over 900 Azov fighters, and a year without prisoner exchanges. Picture this, the wounded soldiers dying without necessary medication while continuing the defense of Azovstal become impossible. The Mariupol garrison, under orders from higher military command, surrendered. Yet, despite everything, Azov has rebounded, bolstered its combat power, and fights daily for the freedom of their brothers, who've been in captivity for 736 days. So while Russia scrambled to spin this in their favor, let's give a nod to the Azov Brigade's newfound arsenal, because nothing says "up yours" to a Russian quite like arming the very group that they love to hate. Meanwhile, in Russia, the spirit of imperialism is alive and well. TV host Sergei Mardan channeled his inner Tsar and threatened Armenia's statehood with extinction, because Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan had the audacity to suggest that Armenia could leave the Moscow-led CSTO whenever it wants.
Но вот сегодня Пашинян договорился до того, и что невозможно уже вот как фарш провернуть назад, что мы из ОДКБ выйдем, запятая, когда сочтем нужным. Ты кто такой, чтобы выходить из ОДКБ, когда ты сочтешь нужным? Кто ты такой, добрый ты человек? То есть, если б ты торговал бы какими-нибудь китайскими кроссовками, где там, на торговом центре Москва, я бы, в общем, не удивился бы. Но ты типа премьер-министр, и ты объясняешь, как ты будешь делать дела с Россией. И ты выйдешь, когда ты сочтешь нужным. Вот когда решишь, тогда ты и выйдешь. А до этого было заявлено, что отношения между Арменией и Соединенными Штатами приобретут характер стратегического партнерства. Как вы думаете, дорогие мои зрители и слушатели, как может закончиться вот в этом контексте, серьезно, вот эта вот многострадальная история независимого армянского государства? Я сейчас не про армянское царство говорю, которое, ну да, мы его знаем, оно исчезло там 1000 лет назад или 700 лет назад, я не скажу вам точнее, а про современное армянское государство. Как история этого государства может закончиться после подобного рода заявлений в результате такой политики? На мой взгляд, история может закончиться трагически. Вот так же, как закончилась история независимого Карабаха.
Now, Armenia might want a little independence, and Russia's response is essentially, how dare you even think about it? If you want to act like that, we'll just erase you from the map. It's like a toxic relationship where one partner says you can do whatever you want, but then blocks the door and threatens to burn a house down when the other tries to leave. Now, in the world of Sergei Mardan, it seems that the idea of a sovereign nation making its own decision is not just unacceptable, it's an existential threat. So, Armenia, consider this your friendly reminder. In a grand chess game of Russian geopolitics, pawns that step out of line might just find themselves off the board altogether. The subtlety of Russian diplomacy. Nothing says we value our allies quite like a thinly veiled threat of annihilation. Bravo, Sergei. Bravo. Meanwhile, in Belarus, the regime is beaming with pride over its special forces. And I must say, we too are utterly fascinated by Lukashenko's commandos. On Break the Fake, we eagerly await the latest performance from these so-called masters. Yes, let's stick with masters, because calling them soldiers would insult the millions of young men serving their countries, training diligently to utilize their skills effectively on the battlefield. Belarusian commandos seem to prefer more, shall we say, gymnastic skills. They might not scare children, but they certainly provide endless entertainment for the viewers of Break the Fake. It's as if they've taken a wrong turn from the circus and ended up in military fatigues. So here's to you, Belarusian commandos. You might not win any battles, but you've definitely won our hearts as the best unintentional comedians in military history. On June 12th, Russians celebrated Russia Day. Deputy Chairman of the Russian Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, posted on a Russian Day greeting video on his Telegram channel, and in the clip, Ukraine is completely included in the composition of Russia, from the eastern borders to the western regions. The eastern border of Russia and Medvedev's twisted fantasies run along the border with Poland, Romania, and Moldova. Now, the film immediately became a hit on Russian propaganda outlets. The largest published news of another of Medvedev's posts with obvious delight. Under the articles, you can also find thousands of comments praising his idea. But let's think about it in a more realistic way. Dmitry Medvedev once again showed that Moscow does not seek peace, but wants to seize all regions of Ukraine and probably will not stop there. Yeah, but sure, keep talking about peace and negotiations with Russia. To close out today's episode, we'd like to show you one content creator called Mr. Risso who's making fun of Russians using Chatroulette. Now, what is Chatroulette? It's a website where you need a camera, microphone, and a desire to meet new people. And a lot of creators are using it to make content, so let's take a look.
Военная полиция! Здравия желаю! Поставьте камеру, чтобы видно было. Я вообще забубеним красоту. О, вот это мужики, настоящие защитники. Сейчас, падает. Ставить! Равнять! Смирно! Под знамя! Я же говорю, Крым наш, це украинский. Куда вы? Да уже и так по 3 года дадут каждому вам. Успокойтесь, достойте. Я же говорю, Крым наш, Украина.
So in case you missed it, the joke was that the Russian soldiers didn't hear what song they were listening to. Unfortunately for them, it was Ukrainian, so now they have to live in fear of being arrested by Russian police for being in that kind of video on the internet. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.